Is time travel possible? And does it mean that time doesn't work the way you think? Is the past, present, and future all happening at once? And could we jump between them? These aren't just questions from sci-fi movies. In fact, scientists are now saying yes, but don't jump for joy just yet. This terrifying theory has left some of the greatest minds in science absolutely petrified. Welcome back, everyone. Here today, we're going to explore one of the most controversial theories in modern physics. Be warned though, because if it's true, then nothing will ever be the same again. First, let's explore why scientists are convinced that time doesn't work the way you think. If you've ever thought about time, you may have come to the conclusion that it starts at your birth and ends at your death. Basically, your life begins at the moment of your birth, when your mother first cradles you, and ends when you take your last breath. For centuries, this has been how we understand the way time works. However, over the last few decades, scientists have started to turn this around, suggesting that our lives actually start long before we were born and continue long after we die. One theory to explain this is known as the block universe. This theory essentially says that past, present, and future already exist. It's just that we can only experience one of them at a time. This means that your life began when the universe began and will continue long after you've died. But wait, this still doesn't answer the question of where time starts and ends. What if your life actually started many years before your parents even met? Well, this is where things get really strange, because according to some scientists, your life actually began when you first became quantum entangled with another particle. You see, in the quantum world, particles can become linked together in a special way. This means that no matter how far apart they are, if something happens to one of them, the other will also be affected. Scientists believe that these quantum links can extend beyond space and time, meaning that the particles could be located in different parts of the universe or even in different points in time. One scientist even suggested that you could become quantum entangled with a particle that existed 100 billion years ago, which would mean that your life actually began at the dawn of the universe. But this isn't the only reason scientists believe that the traditional view of time doesn't work. Another theory suggests that the universe operates on what is known as a double cone model of time. According to this theory, every decision you make causes the universe to split, creating two separate timelines. In one timeline, you make one decision, and in the other, you make another. This means that every time you make a choice, the number of timelines splits in half. Eventually, this means there is a timeline for every possible decision you could have made. So which timeline do you exist in? Well, according to some scientists, you exist in all of them. Crazy, right? Well, hold on to your socks because it gets weirder. In fact, some physicists now believe that the past, present, and future may all exist at once, and that consciousness might be able to move between them. This idea might seem completely insane, but it's actually based on real science. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence for this theory comes from a paper published by physicist David Deutsch in 1997. In the paper, Deutsch outlines a theory of which essentially means that cause and effect can work backwards in time. Deutsch uses an example of a light switch to illustrate his point. If you flip a light switch, the light bulb will turn on. But what happens if the light bulb is turned off? According to classical physics, the only thing that could have caused the light bulb to turn on was the light switch being flipped. But according to Deutsch's theory of retrocausality, it could also be caused by the light bulb being turned off. This might sound like a small distinction, but it could have huge implications for the way we understand time. If this is true, then it means that the past could be affecting the present and the future. But this is where things get even stranger. According to Deutsch, this retrocausal activity could be responsible for the collapse of the wave function. The collapse of the wave function is a mysterious process in quantum mechanics that occurs when a quantum particle is observed. Before a particle is observed, it exists in a state of potentiality, meaning that it could be in multiple places at once. But as soon as it's observed, its wave function collapses and it is forced to choose one location. Deutsch theorizes that this collapse is caused by the particle sending a retrocausal signal back in time to itself, which causes it to choose a specific location. This means that the past is actually affecting the present, which is crazy enough on its own. But Deutsch doesn't stop there. He also suggests that these retrocausal signals could be responsible for consciousness itself. According to Deutsch, consciousness is nothing more than a series of observations of quantum particles. This means that we are nothing more than receivers of retrocausal signals from the past. Some scientists have taken this theory even further and have suggested that these signals could allow us to communicate with our past selves. This would mean that time travel is possible, but only in one direction, backwards. This may explain why we never hear of anyone traveling to the future, but we do hear stories of people going back in time quite often. It may also explain why sometimes you experience deja vu. Some scientists believe that this is because you're experiencing a signal from your future self. Some scientists even believe that these signals from the past could be causing some of the strange time anomalies that have been documented throughout history. For example, there have been cases of people who have experienced precognitive dreams, meaning that they have dreamed of something before it happens in real life. There have also been cases of people who have accurately predicted the future, such as a case of Soviet psychic Vanga, who predicted the Chernobyl nuclear disaster and the sinking of the Titanic. While these abilities may sound like they belong in the realm of fantasy, they could actually be explained by signals from the future. By listening to these signals, some people may be able to see into the future. These theories are still highly speculative, and there is no concrete evidence to support them. However, they do raise some interesting questions about the nature of time and the possibility of time travel. One thing is for sure though, the traditional view of time as a linear progression from past to future is no longer tenable in the face of modern scientific evidence. Time is a much more complex phenomenon than we once thought, and it may be intimately connected to our ability to observe and interact with the universe. However, it is important to note that while these theories are mathematically elegant and they remain just that, theories. The true nature of time remains one of the biggest mysteries of the universe, and it may be a mystery that we are not yet equipped to solve. Despite this, the search for a deeper understanding of time will no doubt continue to captivate scientists and philosophers for generations to come. Now let's take a look at some real-life examples of time anomalies that have left scientists baffled. In 2011, a team of physicists led by Ronald Mallet of the University of Amsterdam conducted an experiment that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The team created a type of quantum link between two photons, which are particles of light. The photons were separated by 1,400 miles, but they were still able to influence each other instantaneously. This means that if one photon was observed in a certain state, the other photon would immediately be in the same state, even though it was so far away. This suggests that quantum entanglement could be used to communicate faster than the speed of light, which could potentially allow for time travel. However, this experiment was just a simulation, and further research is needed to determine if this could be achieved in real life. Another strange anomaly occurred in 2016, when a team of researchers from the University of Vienna conducted an experiment that seemed to suggest that time could be reversed. The team used a type of feedback control to create a system that appeared to violate the second law of thermodynamics, which states that entropy wins every time. In this experiment, the researchers were able to create a state of negative entropy, which allowed them to reverse the flow of time within the system. This suggests that reversing time may be possible under the right circumstances, but further research is needed to understand the implications of this discovery. These experiments are just two examples of the many anomalies that have been observed that seem to defy our understanding of time. While these observations cannot prove that time travel is possible, they do suggest that there is more to time than meets the eye. So do you think time works the way you think? And do you believe that time travel is possible? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really interested to hear your opinions on this. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you for watching. Thanks for watching.